Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Instinct, the first ever live stream. We have been previously uploading videos, but today we are trying something new. We are going live. We are going to keep it interactive. Feel free to talk in the chat. And today we're going to be talking about Goku, Einstein, and self-hate. Why the strongest choose the road less traveled. We are in a time of chaos. We are in a time of where nobody really knows what's going on. People are scared of AI right now. People are afraid that their jobs are being taken. Change is happening. We don't know where we are going. The future is in the hands of those who choose to go beyond who they are, those who choose to be more than they are, and the ones who choose to start something new. The current system that we find ourselves in is corrupt. The current system that we are in is broken. People are not able to survive. They're not able to go up higher in the food chain. And what we have decided to do here at Royal Instinct is we have decided that we're not going to play by society's rules anymore. We are going to forge our own destiny. We're going to forge our own future. The way we do that is by establishing kingdom. And how, you may ask? You might ask, how do I become a king? How do I establish a kingdom? What you have to do, you have to go out there, you have to find like-minded people, people who think like you, people who are on the same page as you, people who have similar goals. You then take those people and together you come up with something new. You build a new vision for the future. You overthrow the current establishment and set up shop somewhere else. There are plenty of islands around the world that we can take over. We can buy. It's only a couple mil. There are a few islands in Fiji right now that you can get for, less than 300 million. And that is chump change. If 300 million is a lot to you, then you don't know what you're doing in life. You don't know what you're missing out on currently. And if you have those self-doubts, if you have fear in your heart, then you will never achieve nothing. If your goals are so small that you can't possibly imagine how you will achieve such a thing, it's because you're not in the right circles. You're not around the right people. You are not amongst real friends. Real friends really plan things together. They put their creative geniuses, their creative brains together and come up with new plan, a new vision for the future, and go beyond what they currently are. And today what we're going to be watching is a couple of videos on, like I said, like Goku and Einstein in particular. And I've always been a fan of Dragon Ball Z ever since it came out. I thought the idea of going Super Saiyan really resonated with me. It's like, one day, when I was a child, who without much of an identity, without much of a vision for the future, going Super Saiyan was something that I really resonated with because it was bringing about more power from within. Okay, it was going beyond your current limitations and growing to be something that is bigger than you, something that is beyond you, to become a new, stronger version of yourself. Kind of like the Ubermensch, if you think about it. Like, this is what Friedrich Nietzsche spoke about when he said about becoming the Ubermensch, going beyond your current beliefs, beyond your current limits, beyond your current economic predicament, and coming up with something new, a new set of values, a new set of morals to live by, dictating your own future, becoming, in essence, your own benevolent king, right? And let's get into this video. Let's see what this guy has to say.
Transformations and aura farming, but Goku spends his entire life facing stronger opponents, forging bonds, and learning to accept who he is. And in doing so, he's secretly teaching us the meaning of life. Today, we're analyzing Goku not as a fighter, but as a philosopher. I've mapped his journey to the...
Yeah, and that's very important. It's like you can't just be just someone who suffers and fights their way out within the world. You have to become somebody who in essence is dictating his own life, right? Like, you don't want to just be a soldier in an army. You want to be a leader. That is what the world currently needs. There's enough soldiers. There's enough people who are doing what they are told. There's enough people like that, but what we really lack is creative visionaries, creative people who really can make a difference, can be the leaders that the world needs. And I believe that together, that I'm literally sending out a bat signal here to the world. I'm assembling the Avengers. I am becoming somebody who is looking for like-minded people, and together we will band together and conquer the world. If you're sick and tired of wherever you are in life right now, if you know that you can do better, then you really need to think about where you're going, how you're going to get there, and what you need is people that you can really trust, people who are on the same page as you, and people who you can work with.
World's greatest existentialist thinkers, and by the end of this video, you'll never see Goku or life the same way again. Imagine pushing a boulder up a mountain that will never reach the top. Most people would find this task utterly meaningless. However, when Albert Camus famously wrote his
And that's a big thing right now, is like there is no meaning in the world anymore. People have lost all hope. People don't know why they're working anymore. You know what I mean? You work for a paycheck, and at the end of the day, there is no more reward. There's plenty of people who are sick and tired of living in the system, and there's no way of beating the system. You're not going to beat the elites. You're not going to beat the people who run this world. The people who run the world, they're just puppets, right? And the real people in charge behind them, if you want to call it the shadow government, if you want to call it the swamp back in the QAnon days, if you really want to get out that system, then you need to be the one in charge and dictating what that new system is. Okay. And today's lesson is going to be really important because it is all about bringing about that inner strength from within you and coming up with something that is brand new that the world has never seen before. Building a society where people really trust each other, where people can rely on each other, where people don't just backstab each other, where people are the ones who want the best for the world. You know what I mean? We don't need sociopaths running the world. What we need is good people making good decisions for a better future, for a better tomorrow.
essay on the myth of Sisyphus, he was asking humanity an important question. He asks, can you imagine Sisyphus happy? Goku answers yes. The reason why Goku would say this is because he has lived a Sisyphean task his entire life. Goku's life is a series of battles and training arcs where he gets stronger and faces off against opponents that are stronger than the ones that have come before. However, what's interesting here is that no matter how strong Goku gets, there is always someone stronger. Even as he surpasses the ability to destroy planets, solar systems, and even entire galaxies, he always finds someone stronger. However, we never see a sad face on Goku even when he finds someone stronger than him. For Goku, getting stronger is what defines his identity. Getting stronger for Goku isn't a means to get anything else, and he genuinely enjoys the process of breaking his limits time and time again. Therefore, finding newer and stronger opponents is just the cherry on top for him. The myth of Sisyphus is a metaphor for
and what Goku teaches us, Goku is just a very binary character. Like his meaning in life comes from becoming stronger and stronger and stronger, and the way he does that is by training. So a big part of his philosophy is training hard, is pushing himself beyond his current limit, and then testing himself against an opponent where the odds are stacked against him. Goku is not afraid of losing. Goku is not afraid of failing. What he is afraid of is not pushing himself to the utmost limit and finding a solution and defeating his enemy. Okay, how can you use that lesson in your own life? What you can do is you need to pick your goal. What is your goal? What is important to you? How do you decide what is the thing that you want to learn about, training, become successful in? What is your zone of genius? And you need to dedicate your life to that. You need to dedicate your time to that. You need to become the subject matter expert that you are in that field, the best possible subject matter expert you can be in that field, right? and you make what you do is you make incremental gains in your chosen field, and you come up with new versions of looking at it. You come up with new solutions for the problem. You become better at it. And the thing is, when you're in that place, it doesn't feel like hard work. It doesn't feel like training. It doesn't feel like wasted time. It actually fulfills you. It spurs you on. It motivates you. It inspires you because you are within your life purpose, where you are working as hard as you can, and you can at that place you can outwork everybody else, because nobody will be able to compete with you. Nobody will be able to challenge you, because it feels so easy to you to learn at that stage, right? You're making incremental gains. You're making incremental improvements. You're coming up with new insights, and you are adding to the field of genius. You are adding to the betterment of the world at that point. And when you are in that place, then you can meet like-minded people who appreciate what you do, who understand what you're doing, and you can use that data, that information that you're gathering, to make the world a better place. And when you are the person who is making the world a better place, you are in essence a leader then, right? You are leading people, right, who are inspired by you, who want to be part of what you're doing, into a better world, into a better future. And you are at that point the leader, and at that point, if you're the leader leading them to a new place, a new world, you become the king of that place, right? And that's what I want for you. I want you to become a king. I want you to become so successful that you become a trillionaire, that you become somebody who is able to take over other territories, expand your kingdom, build a kingdom, right? And then who when you are the king, who do you want to be friends with at that stage? It'll be other people who are also kings. It'll be other leaders. It'll be other people who are on the same page as you, people who are fighting that fight with you, alongside you, people who you can band together your armies to conquer even more territory, to make the world a better place. There's enough evil in the world. There's enough psychopaths, people in the world who really don't care about making the world a better place. It's all about profit for them. It's all a game to them. It's all about, how can I become the most successful person in the world at the expense of other people? And what we're doing is we're not choosing to throw down humanity, to suck the life out of humanity. What we're doing is we are really banding together. We're the last stand for humanity, to make them prosper, in essence.
For humanity's ability to find meaning in a meaningless task. With that being said, if Goku's life is a 45-year-long Sisyphean task, Goku is Sisyphus at his most happy. When people think about Goku, the first thing they probably think about isn't identity or existential agency. However, the choice to define yourself and to choose who you are is very important to existentialist philosophy. Goku's choice to live martial arts as a way of being signifies.
Yeah, Goku chooses to be a martial artist. He chooses this way of life. This is the zone of genius that he's in. He is going to learn everything about martial arts. He's going to become the master of martial arts. He's going to push his body beyond the physical capacities of himself, and reach newer and newer goals. And obviously, this culminates in the Dragon Ball series, when he is, in essence, he discovers he's a Saiyan, and because of the anger within him, he something comes out of him where he's able to ascend and become a Super Saiyan, right? That power, it is a form that is beyond himself at that stage, right? Like, he is not he whatever humanity thought at that point, he goes beyond it, right? And alongside the Dragon Ball Z series, he becomes better and better and better, right? Like all the Saiyans, like the first they all become Saiyans, then they become Ascended Saiyans, or Super Saiyan 2, then you have Super Saiyan 3, then you have Super Saiyan 4, and then you have all, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Black, or whatever. Right? I mean, at some stage it gets ridiculous, but if you follow the color chart, it's actually he's following the chakras, right, up until the stage where he becomes a Super Saiyan God, right? But the reason he's able to do that, right, is because he dedicates himself to his life purpose, right?
his existential agency as a person. Getting stronger for Goku is an expression of the lessons he learned as a child. Let's explore the identity Goku chooses to define himself by. For those that didn't watch the original Dragon Ball, Goku started learning martial arts when he was a child. Fun fact, Goku actually has the exact same origin story as Superman right up until he makes his way to Earth. When Goku
Yeah, well, I mean, what a lot of stories or parables, what you find is that they actually just borrow from each other, right? Even the Superman story, that there's a lot of Christian um, connotations to the story. Um, you know that this person comes to Earth, and literally it is a form of sacrifice. Is how Jesus sacrificed himself on the cross. Goku is sacrificing himself over and over again um, for Earth, right? And like you might think, like, why is he sacrifice himself for Earth? But it's because the values he embodies of friendship, of doing good, of being a good person, he's willing to put his body on the line in order for his values and his beliefs to prosper.
makes it to Earth, he meets an old martial artist named Gohan who raises him and teaches him martial arts. His identity as a martial artist starts here. After Goku's adoptive grandfather dies, Goku lives on that same mountain by himself. Bulma finds him and then the journey begins. However, those core martial arts teachings about defending the weak and not using your abilities to hurt others stuck with him for his entire life. Goku goes on to name his firstborn son Gohan after his grandpa. This choice to define himself as a martial artist and find joy in getting stronger and breaking his limits is a perfect example of what French existentialist Jean-Paul Sartre calls existence precedes essence. What this phrase means is that you always have the choice in the kind of person you are going to be.
Yeah, that's really important, because Goku, by definition, because he's a Saiyan, um, he is supposed to be actually evil. Like the Saiyans are kind of like predators from the film, the Predator, because they fight, they kill for sport, they fight for sport. It is an enjoyment, it is part of the tradition. It's because they are warriors. They are designed to be the people who, um, there is no room for weakness in that culture, in the same culture, right? But Goku, because it's a nature versus nurture thing. Like he has all the characteristics of a Saiyan, but he chooses to be a kind person because he grew up amongst humans, and he developed that those core beliefs that shaped him as a man. Let's have a look at this video.
You think knowing will heal you, huh?
Of Carl Jung.
Fill some crater in your soul.
Can we really heal our past? Can we mend the traumatic wounds from childhood that subconsciously condition our everyday lives?
It's an important question to ask yourself. It's to establish a kingdom, to become a king. You right now, you might be in a position of where you're full of self-doubt, where you're full of fear, and you're like, I don't know if I can become a Super Saiyan. I don't know if I can go beyond what I currently am. I don't know if I can become a king, become a multimillionaire, a billionaire. You might be in a position where you might feel stuck, where you think that you can never be anything better than what you currently are. And it's something, sometimes you have to go within to go forward, right? And when you go within, you really have to find out those limiting beliefs, those things that are stopping you. And a lot of the time that comes from your past, a lot of the time that comes from childhood trauma from the past, mistakes that you have made that you have not forgiven yourself for. At the end of the day, to have self-esteem, to do anything in life, to think, to be free of self-doubt, you have to let go of any hate towards yourself, right? Like everybody's made mistakes in their lives, right? Like I'm sure everybody's been gone a night out where they got too drunk and made a fool of themselves, right? Like, but the next day, life goes on. whether you exist or not, life goes on, right? So there is no point ruminating. You have to be willing to look the fool. You have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to make mistakes, because success can't come from playing it safe. Success can't come. Success is in essence, success is finding a new way, better way to do something, to elevate you above your circumstances, right? And doing the same things over and over again won't get you there, right? So you have to go beyond yourself. You have to remove those things that are holding you back, and in essence, stopping you from becoming who you really can be.
And put an end to their dominating influence, which stunts our ability to grow, love, and find peace. I mean true peace.
Inner peace. That's cool. Inner peace of what?
Not the flimsy temporary peace arising from a false sense of closure, subtle avoidance,
Inner peace. Inner peace. Inner peace.
or rationally understanding the deeper problems plaguing each of us. If we wish to pursue authentic inner peace, we must journey deeper within, hopefully attaining the promised gifts of freedom, calm, and joy through the arduous process. This search happens to be the next part of Poe's training as the Dragon Warrior in Kung Fu Panda 2. In classic animated movie fashion, Poe achieves inner peace in a matter of days, which obviously isn't possible in reality. However, it's worth exploring the central lessons Poe learns along the way, which can guide us on our own lifelong path toward true psychological healing.
I love you, Dad.
Before providing the cure, we must first explore the nature of psychological trauma and woundedness, which is detailed at the beginning of the film. Poe's first encounter with his unpleasant past occurs after seeing Lord Shen's symbol, triggering a painful memory from the last time he saw it as an abandoned child.
Yeah, I mean, there are many things that are stopping, in this example, Poe from, becoming who he's meant to be. He's meant to be the Dragon Warrior, right? But the traumas of his past, of his true origin story, of him, in that film, being separated from his mother, separated from his real family, that symbol, triggers him to remembering what really happened. Okay, and if those things that you have in your life bring you fear or self-doubt, you have to really look at it and think, why is it causing me to hate myself? Why is it causing self-doubt within me? What you have to realize is that nothing really matters in the world, right? Especially the times we live in now. It's like everything is, the world has actually gone crazy if you really think about it. There is no more meaning. Before, when you lived in, before the internet, when you lived in a country, you all adhered to the same religion, when you all adhered to the same societal rules, right? Like, and everybody followed an order, and in return of following those rules, you got to live an enjoyable life, right? The elites are currently bleeding the world dry. Okay, like they are selling its people down the river. They are, in essence, giving up on the betterment of people. But they are placating to those rules, but they are also saying at the same time that, behind the scenes, that they are stealing from their own people, right? So if you're born into this system and you have self-doubt, and you have to really think, like, how did I end up in this situation? It was like, it was total luck that you were born in the country that you were born in. You could have been born anywhere in the world, but you're born, right, wherever you are, right? Like, I was born in the UK, but I'm Indian, but I was born in the UK. It was a flip of a coin. I could have been born in Germany, right? Because I grew up in Germany. I spent 10 years there in Germany, living there. But I could have been born in that place. I could have been born in India. I'm Punjabi. I could have been there. You never know. You never know, like, why those circumstances happened, right? And I think there's no point in trying to find a reason for things. It's like, well, okay, like, you have to really objectively look at your life and be like, do I deserve to suffer going forward if you've suffered in the past, right? And that's what true healing really is. It's like, forgiving yourself and moving on in your
Such
life.
painful memories or feelings like Poe's can be triggered by all sorts of things. Certain places, pictures, artifacts from childhood, relationships, words, or even smells. Usually, what arises is only a fragment of the experience we lived through as children. In Poe's case, this is a blurred flashback coupled with a short, intense feeling. Other times, the feeling is all that might arise. This feeling is exactly what we felt when experiencing any sort of abandonment, rejection, or other traumatic event as a child, only to cause lasting consequences in our later lives. As long as these memories and feelings remain unprocessed, they will subconsciously dictate our lives, whether we are aware of it or not, as we incessantly attempt to satisfy our unfulfilled needs for love, safety, and warmth through power, praise, stimulants, promiscuity, and an inordinate search for affection, only to find ourselves hopelessly trying to fill a bottomless hole within us. Like Poe, we might be oblivious to these patterns of behavior until life delivers a significant enough blow, leaving us stumped, wondering who we've even been all this time. Throughout
Yeah, because you could have been more. You could have been a greater person. If you decided to challenge yourself, if you decided to really try hard, you could have become someone greater than who you are. And you don't know how great you can be until you try it. Like, that is your purpose in life. That is the mission that you should set yourself. It's like 50 Cent really had it down on lock when he said, get rich without trying. Do you know what I mean? You need to push yourself right to the edge of what you are capable of. It's because why live a secondary life, right? Like, you could live. There are people who are living the life that you should be living right now. There are people in the world who are living better than you, who are eating better than you, and they aren't even excited about that anymore, right? Like, if you're excited by a lobster steak dinner, right, a nice surf and turf, right, there are people eating that right now, and they're like, ugh, not this shit again, right? Like, because they're not appreciative of what they have. They are not the right people, the right recipients of that in their life. Okay. And that's not what I want for you. What I want for you is to become a king, to establish your own kingdom, to have your own followers, to become super, super wealthy. And they're the type of people that I want to work with. They're the type of people that I want to spend time with. They're the type of people that I want to establish my kingdom with, right? And together, how cool would it be, that we both become super trillionaires in the world, and then we just, who you're going to party with, who you're going to enjoy the spoils of war with, right? It's going to be like-minded kings such as ourselves, because we're here to take over the world. We're not here to placate to the world. We're here to tell the world to fuck off. And the way we can do that is by entering the zone of genius, entering a place where you are enjoying life, enjoying your work, uncovering something for humanity that's not been uncovered before, right? Like, every human being on earth is unique. Every human being on earth has their own perspective, and every human being is good at something, right? Or enjoys something that they can then apply themselves to and become good at it, right? If you find what that is, right, you're in your zone of genius at that point, right? And you can, when you are in your zone of genius, you can outwork everybody because you're not working, right? For you, it's enjoyment. For you, it's your life purpose. For you, it's something that makes sense to you, to carry on even when you're tired, even when you're not feeling like, oh, I really can't be asked to read this book now on this subject, because it's a school assignment. No, at that point, it's like you can't wait to read the next page, right? You're actively, you wish you could not sleep, right? You wish you could carry on because you're on the precipice of about uncovering something that nobody else can see, right? It's like Albert Einstein, right? He came up with the theory of relativity, right? But it wasn't hard work for him, right? It was work in the sense of, like, he was thinking about it. He was doing equations. He was reading up on things. He was thinking about things, coming up with different theories. But if you was to ask him, like, how hard was it to come up with it, he's like, it wasn't hard. It was like, where else would I be doing my time? It was his life purpose to come up with it, right? And here is the next video that we're going to be watching about
send information.
Pausing on about how what every self-learner can learn from Einstein. So let's have a look at what this guy has to say.
the years, particularly in our early childhood, we've created a
Oh, hang on.
showed this to be completely false. Instead, his genius came from 3 counterintuitive habits that only a small minority of people use. Habits that are surprisingly hard to master, but which can transform the way you learn and innovate. I've taught these habits to students at virtually all levels, especially habit number 3, without which none of these other habits truly works. So let's take a look at the first habit, curiosity maxing. Now, in other videos, I've explained that starting with a learning goal is key. In other words, it's important to be clear about exactly what you want to learn, to what level you want to learn it, and in what time frame. And this is,
But basically, what you have to do is you have to pick something that you want to become the expert in, something that where you are the subject matter expert, somewhere that you are comfortable in, something that you're excited about. If your life purpose, if you're excited about biology, let's take Charles Darwin, for example. Like he was excited about beetles for a long time before he came up with his theory of evolution. He was super excited about beetles, right? He collected beetles, he read about beetles, he drew beetles, he wrote his findings, his own perspective, he rewrote it, other people's research on it, and where what he agreed with, what he didn't agree with. He consumed all this knowledge, and then when he was coming up with different theories of how the world came to be, how species came to be, how species evolved, because of that background information of something that he had interests in, right? He was able to piece the things together to complete the puzzle, right? And that is what you need to do. You need to find that thing that excites you, whatever your hobby is. Become a master at your hobby, right? If you like collecting Pokemon cards, right, you need to go and collect all the Pokemon cards. You need to be able to learn all about the Pokemon. You need to become learn of, and then you need to go a step beyond to be like why is Pokemon so appealing to you? Why is it appealing to so many people across the world? Why is it so such a world phenomenon that all little kids, you give them can recognize who Pikachu is, right? Like, because there is something that it really resonates with people across the world, and maybe from that you'll be able to be like, what if this thing that is Pokemon can unite all these people? Is the principles of what Pokemon is, not in the essence of the creatures or of the monsters that they are, but is there something of a community coming together to celebrate something, right? Can you extrapolate that and put it out into the world in a different way that can unite people, that can bring people together, and if you have that sort of information, that sort of insight, you can really become a king, right? Because you become the leader, you become the thought leader in your field, you become the person who people turn to because you have information that has never existed before, right? Like, I mean, AI is here to take over. AI will displace a lot of people from work, right? Because they, the type of work it will displace is people who are doing repetitive tasks, who are not contributing but just churning data, for example, right? But what AI can't do, it can't come up with new theories. It can't come up. It's good at analyzing data and coming up with patterns, but it's not good at making decisions or making connections that can really push humanity forwards, right? AI can push AI forward where it likes, right? But it will never be able to replace creative, genius, human level thought, right? And the word genius turns a lot of people off. It scares a lot of people because people think it's high IQ. High IQ comes from passion and being in your life purpose. It becomes from spending hours and hours and hours of connecting dots that other people just can't see, right? And it might be in something creative, it might be in something scientific, it might be in literature, it might be in philosophy, it might be in you finally realizing the secret to enlightenment, right? Whatever that thing is, you need to decide for yourself. You need to, in essence, this is what Friedrich Nietzsche said. It was like, become the Übermensch, become somebody who is greater than yourself, become somebody who is who goes beyond what the current human limitations are, what the current status quo is. Find something absolutely new. Find something that is beyond yourself. Okay, and if you're able to do that, you'll be a genius. You'll be seen as somebody who is a leader, somebody who is a king.
This is exactly why I've always started my one-on-one sessions with students by helping them define exactly that, and then building a curriculum plan around that goal. But Einstein understood something that we all secretly realize, namely that there's often a disconnect between the goal we set out to achieve with our learning and the motivation it takes to get there. Too many times you want to read, learn, or explore some new topic, but you simply can't resist scrolling on your phone. Or let's face it, sometimes you're just too tired or overwhelmed. And so how did Einstein overcome this? Well, when he was just a boy, he fell sick and was stuck in bed for weeks. To keep him entertained, his father gave him a simple compass. Now, think about that moment. A little needle inside a glass case, always pointing in a certain direction, no matter how he turned it. For most kids, it would have been just a toy. But for Einstein, it was a mystery. Why did the needle move? What invisible force could possibly pull it in one direction, even when nothing seemed to touch it? That compass became more than just an object. It became a symbol of wonder. It lit up a spark that never went out because it showed him that the world was full of hidden forces, patterns, and laws just waiting to be discovered. And so this spark didn't come from setting a goal, such as I'm going to study physics for 2 hours per day and mathematics for 2 hours per day for the next 5 years. Yes, that structure eventually came, but his curiosity came first. And
yeah, he was in essence excited about what he was doing. He was excited about discovering why something was happening, right? Something that he was curious with, the compass, the needle moving in the compass. It was an itch that needed to be scratched, right? So then he was willing to keep going, to keep scratching it until it was solved, right? Like the problem, the solution to his problem was solved. And whatever that thing is for you, you need to decide what it is. And sometimes, when you have self-doubt, there might be something that you like, there might be something that you are interested in, but the thing that's stopping you is like, oh, is it even interesting enough? And it doesn't matter what the world decides. It matters what you decide. Is it interesting to you? We have only a finite time on this earth, right? And you have to decide how you spend it. And what I suggest to you is you need to have that self-reliance, that self-resilience, in essence, to decide, do you know what? I'm going to spend my time focusing on Pokemon cards for the rest of my life. It's not going to make me no money. It's not going to, make me famous. It's not going to be interesting to other people, but it's going to be able to scratch the itch that I have within me to figure out what this phenomena is, right? Like I need to, be the absolute subject matter expert in this field, right? And whatever it is for you, right? I hope you find it. It's easy to find once you get rid of all the limitations that are within your head. Once you get rid of that self-doubt, and in essence, it's not a selfish thing to do because the world needs it. Whatever your gift to the world is, the world needs it because it's an integral part of adding to the bigger picture of basically making the world a better place, right? We are in times of turmoil. We are in times of where, the leaders have given up in this world. The leaders are selling you dry. People are, willing to get rid of humanity, sell them down the river and take all the resources for themselves, right? Like Elon Musk is building a spaceship to go to Mars, not because, he wants to take humanity with him, right? He's not a benevolent king. He's not even a king in essence, right? He's doing it because he's like, well, you earthlings are fucked. I'm going to get the fuck out of it, right? Like he's going to take himself. He's going to take he's going to take 200 hot women with him, and he's going to try and impregnate them all and start a new civilization up there, right? There's a reason he's got, electric motors, right? An electric car company, a a space rocket company, the Boring Company, which he's drilling underneath LA to come up with a new road system, is because when you go to Mars, you need to be able to drill underneath and create a whole civilization under the ground, because you can't live on top of Mars. You need to live underneath it, underneath the ground, and that is his ultimate goal. And he's not going to take everybody, right? Like literally, if you listen to people like Peter Thiel, what's the other guy named, the ChatGPT guy, Sam Altman, they are not bullish on humanity, right? They're placing all their chips inside AI, right? And then when AI takes away, 8% of jobs from people, right? And all these people are unemployed, they have nothing to do, they have no money. All the men have no money to court women, to date women, to build families. What are all these people going to do? They're all going to rot away. They're all going to be plugged into the system. They're all going to be stuck in their little cages. There's not going to be no revolution, by the way, right? Like that. Get that out of your head, right? There's no revolution. People are not willing to fight, right? It'll be bullshit fights like what they're doing in Russia and Ukraine, which is distracting everybody in the world, right? Like Putin and the other guy, Zelensky, are fighting it out, right? And the people from NATO, when real people are dying on the front line for what? For what? It's like, NATO is at fault here. They shouldn't have brought those weapons, those missiles to the border, to Ukraine, to the border of Russia. However, it was obvious that Putin was going to retaliate regardless.
What that curiosity did was set up a reward system in his brain. You see, your brain has the ability to crave light, instant sort of rewards, and deep, more substantive sort of rewards. Those light rewards are like junk food or social media. They provide instant rewards, but research has shown.
Yeah, and that's another thing, is that the world is distracting you. The world is social media is distracting you. All these algorithms are distracting you. They're hijacking your brains. That they're taking you away from your purpose. And then when you are not in your purpose, you end up in a place of self-hate, of self-doubt, and what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, I can't stop watching all these TikToks, but like, I don't want to watch it. I should be doing something else. I'm not adding to the world. I'm not creating something. And you end up in a place of self-hate. And now we're going to watch a video of self-hate being explained.
I believe this is the question Neon Genesis Evangelion attempts to answer. Watching the heart-wrenching tales of Shinji and Asuka, I was left pondering things I hadn't known about myself. For a couple of years now, I have been engulfed in an endless loop of self-hatred, one where I loathed and questioned my right to exist. Self-hate is an emotion many of us may know all too well. But do we?
Why is this person hating themselves? Why is he doubting himself? It's because he's not in his life purpose. It is because he is not fulfilling the obligation to himself of what he's been sent to this earth to be, right? And everybody has this opportunity in the world, right? It's just your decision to find it, to find out your purpose, to find out your zone of genius, and make the world a better place. And the way you can do that is by becoming a king, by becoming the leader that the people need, by starting something new.
That over time, it is actually possible to gradually rewire your brain to
Hang on.
We understand what it means to truly hate ourselves. Could it be that this hate is our mind's last-ditch effort at saving us? A desperate attempt at preserving what we have left? Does self-hate actually exist? Self-hate is a very complicated emotion to express. We can simply scream out, "I hate myself," but deep down we know this isn't the full reality of this twisted feeling. As kids, we learn to express our basic emotions. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry. But how do we express that voice? One that slowly chips away at our own existence. Maybe the self-hatred is a response our mind created, one that makes sense of the pain we've went through, an attempt to fuse the emotions that overwhelm us into a single word. Or maybe the true reason we cannot describe it is because it never existed. To understand this question, I had to understand the difference between hate and resentment. The lines that separate them are blurry, which is why it is easy to view them as one and the same, but they could not be any more different. To resent something is to choose to hate that thing, that person. It's a reaction to the pain they inflicted on you. Resentment is a feeling that originated in love, while hate is an absolute hostility that may not even have a reason. If there is one thing I am sure of, is that we are not born into this world hating ourselves. Nobody is. It is always a moment, a trauma inflicted upon us that pushed us to choose hate. There is always a reason, and there are so many to resent ourselves. Yet there are none to hate ourselves. But why? Don't we hate ourselves because we cannot love? The paradox introduced by Arthur Schopenhauer was an attempt at describing the inevitable fate of human intimacy. It's a cruel metaphor that would show how powerless we are to our own nature. Hedgehogs desire closeness to one another, but the closer they get, the deeper their spikes will pierce through the ones they love. It depicts a fight between our deepest desires and our cruel nature. The irony that resides within this dilemma haunts us all.
And I wanted you to watch that because I wanted you to hear what this guy had to say, because self-hate is something that plagues everybody. Everybody is always looking out into the world thinking like, what is the right thing to do? Where should I be going? What should I be doing with my time? And when you're not certain of what you're doing, you end up hating yourself because it's like, I should know what the fuck I'm doing, right? That is what the self-hate is. It's like, oh, I should be doing this thing, but I'm not. And you need to really be able to assess yourself, be like, well, should I be good at this thing? Should I be doing this thing? And it's like when you're at school, for example, and look, maths is important, right? For example, but if you're not good at maths is not your purpose in life. Should you be hating yourself for not being good at it? Do you get what I mean? Find the things that are good to you. Find the things that make you complete, make you whole, make you enjoy life, that where life makes sense to you, right? Because there's 10 billion people in the world. You're going to find like-minded people, right? What you need to do is you need to find those people that think like you, where you can be yourself, where you can enjoy your work, where you can enjoy your gift that you have to give to the world, right? Like if you're meant to be a runner, why try and swim? Do you know what I mean? Like it is not your destiny. That is not your purpose in life.
Unhealthy attachments, and misconceptions about ourselves, all of which we are so certain are the truth, but in reality couldn't be further from it. In Poe's case, this is humorously depicted as he rushes back to his father, a goose, with a host of questions about his past.
Where did I come from?
Only to learn he is in fact adopted. I mean, who would have ever guessed?
I just found out that my dad isn't really my dad.
All of our incorrect notions about ourselves, our family, and our past, of which there are so many, must be laid to waste. Only then will we find lasting peace and discover who we truly are.
So, who are you, Panda?
Poe and the Furious Five.
That's an important question right there. Who are you, Panda? Right. The world will tell you who to be. The world will decide who you are, right? If you let it. The choice is yours, right? Like, are you willing to roll over to these elites, to these billionaires, these tech oligarchs, people who don't have the best interest for you? Are you willing to, let them dictate who you are and what you're capable of and who you spend your time with, what you spend your money on, tax you up to your eyeballs, right? Is that how you want to spend your time? Or do you want to spend your time deciding that, fuck that, I've had enough of this game, I've had enough of this system, I'm going to be the one who decides on a new system. And it doesn't matter how you do it, you don't need a plan. It's just a decision within yourself, being like, I'm going to find something new. And that is what we're doing here at Royal Instinct. It is, do you have that instinct within yourself? Do you have the courage within yourself? Do you want to become greater than who you are, become bigger than who you are? Right? Because the way society is going, the way life is going, it's like it is over for most people, right? Like, AI is here, digital IDs are coming, cryptocurrencies are going to be so embedded, into the system via digital central bank currencies. They'll be able to track what you're spending your money on. If they don't like it, if you're spending too much money on meat, if you're spending too much money on electricity, they'll just shut you down. They'll dictate what you can do, right? There'll be no more freedoms left. There'll be no more there'll be no more freedom to express yourself, because and then they will decide who you are. The elites will choose to decide what you can and can't do. And you have to ask yourself, is that the life that I want to live with? The life I want to live in? If the answer is no, then you have to strive for something that's better. It is down to you. You get to be the hero in this thing. This is the point in the story of your life story where you get to go on the hero's journey. This is where do you accept the journey? Do you accept the monumental task on your shoulders? Do you get to do some really cool superhero shit, or do you want to just be a background character who later on just gets fucking bent over, and they shove a dildo up your ass? The choice is yours. Hang on, who's this? We have Anthony Z7V6C. Welcome back. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. Tell us who you are. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're doing here. What kind of kingdom are you building? Where do you want to go in the world? What do you want to do? What problems do you see? What problems shall we solve? Is there something that we can do together? Everything's going to shit right now. Is there a gap that you can see that can be the solution to the world? Right? Well, you're just here to, just to learn a little bit. That's cool too, man. I appreciate that. But let's go back to Goku. Let's finish off. I'm going to be finishing it in about 10 minutes.
Learn of Lord Shen's evil antics and are sent by Shifu to...
Hang on.
And therefore his connections to others by his relationship with martial arts. His grandfather not only gave him his name Goku, but he taught Goku a language which he uses to express himself. He loves to spar with his friends, his children, and he even fought a tournament match with his wife before they got married. This is the exact reason why most of his friends are either former rivals or people who tried to destroy the world. He chooses not to kill these people because he knows that if he chooses to be a martial artist and live his life with discipline, they can choose to be a better person. He later learns that he can't do that with everyone, and he learns to accept that, but we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Ultimately, if you ask Goku, would you live your life over and over and over again from beginning to end, would you do it? In my opinion, he would say yes. And he would say yes every single time. I
mean, in essence, in some way, Goku, he remains the same character throughout the whole TV show, the manga, right? He has no growth apart from his strength and apart from his level of Super Saiyan. Like he actually has no character arc. He's exactly the same person. It's like the best character arcs in the film. Sorry, in the TV show is Vegeta. Gohan has a good character arc up until the end. Piccolo has a good character arc. And why Piccolo and Vegeta probably have the best ones. And you have to ask yourself why. The reason is because they start out as villains. Right? They are people who are powerful, they're people who are strong, and they are people who are in essence evil, and they overcome their own evil, their own hate that is within them, whether it's self-hatred or not. But there is hate inside them for them to do all the evil things they do throughout the TV show. They overcome it, and then they join the good side, right? They become people who are good. They are people who develop and grow as a person and learn from others and their own mistakes. And, when you see someone go from one side of the spectrum to the other, it's fascinating to people because, in essence, everybody who's watching it also wants to have that growth within them, right? They want to be able to get better, be bigger than what they are. So let's see. Here's Anthony. Anthony, you're from Montreal, Canada. Cool, man. I was in Canada in in September last year. I was there for a wedding in Vancouver, Surrey, British Columbia. So I know that's the other side of you guys, but you know, it's cool, man. Montreal, and what you got here? I have figured out a lot of tyranny workarounds for yourself. Wow, man. So what sort of tyranny do you see in the world? How are you working around it? I know that in Canada, you guys had a big problem during the lockdowns with the COVID passports, right? You had a lot of problem where I think was it the truckers who were getting debanked? You know, that was really fucked up, man. Like that things like that really pissed me off. You know what I mean? Like what right does the government have, or what you put into your body, what you don't put into your body, and then when you don't comply, they decide to take away all your banking away from you, right? Like without a bank account, you can't work the system, right? And that's one of the reasons why I created this channel. It's like I'm trying to wake people up, not all of humanity, but the people who think like me, the people who also see the world as I do, and be like we need to do something about this. We need to get out of the system, right? Because the system is designed to suppress you. The system is designed to keep you down. The system is designed to extract as much as possible from you without giving anything back. But hang on. I come from the 10th level Jedi Truther corner of the internet. I've never visited the Jedi Truther corner. I might give it a little Google afterwards. Like, let me just do it now. Hang on. Jedi Truther corner. 10th. I'll have a little read about it later. I'll see what you're all about, man. But you know, if that's who you are, if that's what you're about, why not become the king of the Jedi Truthers? Why not become the king of the Jedi Truthers, right? You know, that could be your role in life. You could be the one who brings together the Jedi Truthers, you know, establishes your own kingdom, come up with a whole new economy, and change the world that way, you know? Your videos are so good. And where is it? Your videos are so good. This is the most underrated channel. I appreciate that, man. That's thanks. I mean, you know, look, man, like I've not got a big production going on here yet. I don't really give a fuck about, you know, finding people, you know, making the best videos I can. I'm more interested in finding people who think like me. And, you know, I appreciate you being here, Anthony, you know. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to be live streaming every day going forward for the next year. You know, I just want to see what that's about, and I get to interact with people like yourself, and you know, figure out this world, figure out how we can become kings, right? You know what I mean? Anthony, I think you should change your username to King Anthony. You know what I mean? Like become the king of Montreal, become the person in charge of the 10th level Jedis, right? We need more Jedis in the world. We need more people like you. We need more people who are willing to stand up against the system, against oppression, and become good people in the world.
In my opinion, Goku isn't headed towards any particular power level destination. So if he gets to experience the ride from building level to multi-galaxy level over and over and over again, he probably wouldn't mind. Goku is a simple man, and if he gets to wake up, eat well, train and rest, then that was a day well spent for him. This is the question of eternal recurrence from the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. The point of the question is to get you to think about the ways in which you are living your life and to hopefully persuade you into living your life in a way that aligns with your personal identity. What that looks like for Goku is training really, really hard. For me, it's making video essays and drawing, so if you're enjoying the video, like and subscribe. Ultimately, Goku teaches us 4 paths to create meaning. The first is that there is meaning to be found in defining yourself, and that there is also meaning to be found through struggle. The second path is the thesis of the next part of this video. Goku's journey didn't stop at Grandpa Gohan. Eventually, he meets Muten Roshi. Most people think that Roshi is a simple footnote in Goku's journey. However, that simply isn't.
And that's another big thing to consider. It's like, you know, if you've got self-doubt, if you've got fear that you're dealing with right now, if you're depressed, if you don't know how to overcome your current situation, a lot of it you're being held back because you can't see what the next step is. Sometimes you need to just go out into the wild, go out into the darkness, and along the way you'll find the right people who can help you. I mean, like today, for example, you know, I decided to live stream to change it up from my usual videos, and along the way now I met Anthony, right? Anthony from Montreal. You know, he is a person who resonates with these videos, who also wants to change the world, who understands that the system is corrupt. And you know, now there's two of us. Do you get what I mean? Now there's two people building a kingdom, building his kingdom. Anthony's got Canada on lockdown, right? I've got, you know, Europe on lock, you know, and this is how we take over the world. This is how we establish a new system, right? But you know, the choice is yours, right? We've only got a couple years left, really, until we're in absolute chains, until we're being imprisoned by, you know, the digital prisons that the elites want us to be in. If you want to escape tyranny, if you want to escape the prisons that are coming, if you want to change the world, then reach out to me. You know what I mean? We can build together. We can come together and build something new. We can really change over the world. I really truly believe it. I believe it is our destiny to cross paths. I believe it is our destiny to bring about a new time within humanity. You know, show humanity that there is a new path, right? And because we'll be the people who take on all the risks, who establish these kingdoms, will be kings at the end of the day. So thank you everybody for today. I will see you tomorrow at the same time. So I'm going to be doing most of these live streams. I think Monday to Saturday I'll keep it at the same time. So it'll be 5:30 you know, standard Greenwich Meridian time. But depending on where you are in the world, you know, it'll be at this sort of time. I'm going to keep them for about an hour, and you know, we'll go from there. We'll see what we've got. But you know, Anthony, you know, thank you for reaching out. I appreciate you, mate. Absolutely, mate. You know what I mean? We are the people who will dictate the new world order. It was a default username. I agree with you. Yes, King Anthony sounds so much better. So I look forward to that. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow.